Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another mock draft on the channel today. Now, as we continue to get closer and closer to the draft, which starts on April 25th, I want to continue to refine these mock drafts to make them as accurate as possible. And, in light of some new information this week and some updated analysis, this mock draft might look a little different, but I think that is probably my most accurate one yet. So make sure to stay tuned and let me know what you think of your favorite team's pick in the comments down below. Now, let's start with the Chicago Bears. It's no secret that I've pretty much mocked Caleb Williams to the Bears every single time since I've started doing these mock drafts, but I don't know if I'm going to do that here. Truthfully, I think the whole thing with Caleb Williams painting his nails, having the pink phone case, I mean, that's fine and all, but I just don't think that it fits with the aesthetic of Chicago. Chicago's hardworking people. There are no bullshit people. And I really do think that that is going to turn the Bears away from drafting Caleb Williams #1 overall. So then I think their next option is to trade the pick. And I honestly think that they trade back with the New York Giants, keep themselves in the top 6. This trade is accepted. And the Giants will go ahead and take Caleb Williams, even though they're paying Daniel Jones $30 million next year. Now that leaves the Washington Commanders, the division rival. Truthfully, you think that the fact that their division rival leapfrogged them might scare them a little bit. But most people would probably think they go with Drake May here. And I don't think they go with Drake May. How are they going to have Sam Howell from North Carolina and then draft Drake May second overall, also from North Carolina? I mean, Mitch Trubisky is also from North Carolina, and he sucks. So they're not taking Drake May. There's no way. What I do think they might do, though, is take the best player in the draft. The new regime, they're going to want the absolute best player available. And that, my friends, is Marvin Harrison Jr. He's a dog. Then that leaves the Patriots on the board at pick #3. And truthfully, I think that they feel pretty happy to have Drake May kind of fall into their lap right here. They need a quarterback. They have a new coaching staff, everything like that. I think they would be happy to take Drake May at pick #3. I think then the Arizona Cardinals at #4. They want to protect Kyler Murray. They drafted Paris Johnson in the draft last year. Why not go with another first-round tackle, have the best tackle tandem in the league? They go with Joe Alt right here. Now, with the Chargers at pick #5, as tempting as J.J. McCarthy would be right here for the Chargers, I just don't see them doing it because of Justin Herbert, and that's completely fair. So I do see them taking a receiver in this draft. I think they want a guy that is going to complement the play style of Quentin Johnson, who is their franchise wide receiver one. Obviously, this would just be a complementary piece. I think Malik Neighbors, he's a little bit faster, he's a better playmaker, and I think that he would have the ability to get down the field more so than Quentin Johnson. And then that leaves the Bears right here with pick 6 and pick 9. That's just perfect. That's how you know you're about to have a great draft. And they obviously still need quarterback, but Caleb Williams and Drake May are off the board. You might be thinking, well, what the fuck are they going to do now? They got to take Jane Daniels. And as much as they would like to take Jane Daniels, because we all know they love Justin Fields, and how similar their play styles are just with their speed, I think the choice here is obvious. I think the Bears are going to go with J.J. McCarthy, right? J.J. McCarthy's a really underrated quarterback coming into this draft. He went to high school in Illinois. He went to high school about an hour away from me at Nazareth Academy, played right in their backyard at Michigan. I mean, the Bears are going to be able to get future draft capital and take J.J. McCarthy 6th overall. I really don't see how this isn't a massive win for Chicago. And then at pick 7, the Tennessee Titans. I think the Will Levis experiment probably is not going to work out. I think they'll want to go with a high ceiling quarterback. New coach Brian Callahan did not draft Will Levis, so I think because of that, they're going to go with Jaden Daniels at quarterback there. Now the Atlanta Falcons have really shown a lust for the offensive side of the ball, so I think they definitely go with offense here. Brock Bowers is a close first pick for me, but I think Olu Fashanu at offensive tackle, just make that offensive line as elite as possible. Kirk Cousins just tore his Achilles. You do not want that man hitting the deck. Protect him with a potential future All-Pro and Olu Fashanu. Now we got the Chicago Bears coming up again, and you know what? I think one of the best players in the draft is still available, and I just don't know how they would be able to pass him up. Listen, I know they have Cole Kmet. I do. But Brock Bowers is such a dynamic playmaking tight end. I just think that the Bears would be stupid to pass him up if he was there at pick 9, truthfully. And then the New York Jets, made a big trade the other day for Hassan Reddick. They're really kind of beefing up that defensive line. They're trying to make a run. Their defense has been quite elite for years now, and it's kind of been their offense that's held them back. Hopefully, they have a healthy season of Aaron Rodgers. Now, looking at the board, what do they need? Edge rushers are on the board, and again, they kind of filled that position already. But Roman Dunze, how could you let him go past? I don't know why I did that. Roman Dunze, there we go. I just think that there's just no shot that they let him get past pick 10. And then for the Minnesota Vikings, they also kind of need quarterback. And I think that they might have tried to trade up into the, one of the top 5 picks and get one of these big dogs, but unfortunately their division rival Bears just got JJ McCarthy. They got to make a move at quarterback. Maybe this is a bit early, but he had an excellent pro day. I think they take Michael Penix Jr., pick 11. Keep him in purple and gold. See what he can do under Kevin O'Connell. I would be very, very excited to see Michael Penix in the Vikings offense. And then similarly, I think the Broncos do also go quarterback just because they're so desperate and they just don't have an option. Bo Nix is the move for them at pick number 12. Now, the Raiders here, if not for all of these quarterbacks going so soon, I could see them taking a quarterback. Unfortunately, though, none of the first-round caliber players are still available. I think you're looking at edge rushers here. Dallas Turner is still on the board, pairing him up with Max Crosby and now Christian Wilkins. That defensive line is going to be sick, and they are going to be hunting Patrick Mahomes scarily enough for him. Hopefully, he's got as much speed as his favorite receiver to get away from them. I'm just kidding. That's a bad joke. Anyways, pick 14 for the New Orleans Saints. Again, this is kind of just best player available. It's whatever your preference is. I do know that they need corners because some of their guys are young, edge rushers, everything like that. I'll go with Latu out of UCLA. I just think that he would be a nice addition. Cameron Jordan is getting older. The defensive line has not been great in years past, in the last couple of years, excuse me. And I just think they could use some juice on the defensive side of the ball. The Indianapolis Colts, I see them going receiver here. Like, Michael Pittman is good. Alec Pierce is really not a solid number 2 receiver at all. Brian Thomas gets some more weapons for Anthony Richardson. And then we got my Seattle Seahawks here. Now, again, Michael Penix would be a tempting option if he were available, but he's not. So I think the Seahawks have a couple of things that they could do. They could go with Chop Robinson. They can go with one of the defensive tackles. They can go Jackson Powers-Johnson. But truthfully, I think if you're Mike Macdonald, you really want to go corner. Devin Witherspoon and Rick Woolen are great, but we saw how fantastic he was with the Baltimore Ravens DBs. Why not just stack as much talent as possible? I think that you go with Quinion Mitchell for the Seattle Seahawks, and I honestly am very, very impressed with our DB room at this point because Mike Macdonald's going to be able to cook. He's going to be able to run all sorts of blitzes and man coverage, zone coverage, quarters, whatever. Whatever he's going to want to do, I think that would be awesome for the Seahawks, and Quinion Mitchell is probably the number 1 corner in the draft. Jacksonville Jaguars, pick 17. Again, I think edge rushers on the board here. I do. Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker, they're good, but you can never have enough edge rushers, I don't think. So Jared Verse at pick 17 is good value. Gets him a nice, powerful run-stopping defensive end. He's big, he's bulky, kind of like I was described in high school. Pick number 18 for the Cincinnati Bengals. I do think that they go with an offensive tackle because they need an offensive tackle really badly. They go with Fuaga out of Oregon State to keep Joe Burrow upright. Not too much to add there. That's kind of been their main priority for several years now. The Los Angeles Rams, they need defensive tackle. They need defensive tackle pretty badly, actually. And there are a few good ones available in this draft. Let me go ahead and pull them up. Johnny Newton, Byron Murphy out of Texas. But might I interest you in a different defensive tackle, also from the University of Texas, T'Vondre Sweat. And you might be wondering, Mike, why would T'Vondre Sweat go before Byron Murphy and Johnny Newton? Those guys are beasts. And that's correct. They are very, very good players. But you have a, Grand Canyon size hole at defensive tackle now with the retirement of Aaron Donald. And I think that you want to fill that as literally as possible and just get somebody to actually fill the gap. You see what I'm saying? Fill the gap. Be the dominant nose guard that they are going to miss without Aaron Donald. So I think that he's a plug-and-play guy. He's going to start right away, and I think he'd be an awesome pick for the Rams here at 19. Pick 20. The Steelers, they have an interesting quarterback experiment going on right now. I'm not going to lie. If you look at the quarterbacks available, None of these guys are worth, I think, taking pick 20 overall, and that's totally fine. But let's go ahead and give them another Georgia offensive tackle, this time Amaris Mims, as opposed to Broderick Jones from last year. They need help on the offensive line. It has not been elite. Again, if you want to keep Russell Wilson and Justin Fields upright, get them some big, beefy, beautiful blockers. I'm going to make that a t-shirt one day. But Amaris Mims is a absolute freak of nature at tackle, and I think he'd be a welcome addition to the Steel City. Miami Dolphins, honestly, like, the philosophy of the Dolphins has been speed, and no player exemplifies that better than Mr. Xavier Worthy. Now, do they have other needs? Yeah, they have a need at defensive tackle and interior offensive line and blah, 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 blah. What a cheat code it's going to be to have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Xavier Worthy, and Devon Achane. That is the fastest group of players ever. It'll be screen passes for days. Tua will not have to throw the ball past the line of scrimmage, and he could throw for 5,000 yards next season. I mean, it truthfully would be a cheat code. And if anybody would be able to unlock those guys, it would be Mike McDaniel. So the Dolphins, Xavier Worthy at pick 21. I think that's the move for you. Pick 22, the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, you guys keep telling me that they don't need corners, and I'm actually starting to believe you guys. So why not go with a Howie Roseman special and go after one of these big, beautiful boys up front? Get another defensive tackle to pair with Jalen Carter. Why not? Make that unit as dominant as humanly possible. Johnny Newton out of Illinois. You know, there's some debate between him and Byron Murphy. Pro Football Network that I'm on right now, they seem to favor Johnny Newton a little bit, which is fair. Maybe I have some Illinois bias, but I'll put him slightly above Byron Murphy. The Vikings back at pick 23. Listen, earlier in the draft, they got Michael Penix Jr. They got a lefty quarterback. Why not get a guy that has played right tackle? He would be the left tackle for a right-handed quarterback. Guy that's played right tackle, J.C. Latham, played it at Alabama, was really good. And again, you're basically getting your franchise left tackle at pick 23. The Dallas Cowboys, I think their biggest hole right now is probably running back, although they do have some other needs as well. Left tackle is now a need because of Tyron Smith's departure and free agency. But let's check out one of these running backs. Trey Benson is a dog. He really is a dog. And if there's going to be a guy to go in the first round, I would imagine that it's probably him. So I'm going to go ahead and mock him to the Cowboys right here because I don't think Jerry Jones is going to want to wait and be patient for a running back. If he sees a guy that he really likes, he's just going to run. He'll run the draft card up to the stage himself and take him. It's really not surprising at this point. It's Jerry Jones. He doesn't have a lot of impulse control, unfortunately. Packers, they have a hole at safety still. But they cannot pass up Terrion Arnold still on the board. It's great value at pick 25. For the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at pick 26, they re-signed Baker, they re-signed Mike Evans, they franchise tagged Antonio Winfield. They're pretty much running it back with the same team as last year. They need help on the defensive line. And why not pair a guy like Byron Murphy II with Vita Vea? I think that would just be truly elite. And I think that the Buccaneers defense would be back to what it was a few years ago when they won the Super Bowl. Let's go to the Arizona Cardinals at pick 27. Now, earlier in the draft, they were able to get Joe Alt to shore up their offensive line. Now let's get them somebody to shore up their defensive line. Or their defense, rather, in fact, not their defensive line so much. Their defense, Jonathan Gannon, he's a white dude. And I think that he's also a defense coordinator. So I think that when you pair those two things together, what works better than Cooper DeJean out of Iowa? Finally we have, as the white community, a white corner for the team. You guys know what team I'm talking about. Anyways, moving on. Pick 28, the Buffalo Bills. They're going to take Jackson Powers-Johnson. They just Mitch Morse just left in free agency. They need a center. Very, very important for Josh Allen to have that kind of connection with his center, especially when they go under, so when they do those quarterback sneaks. You need that chemistry. You need that right feel for each other. And I think he's going to fly him to Buffalo first class the night of the draft so they can get working on that. Pick 29 for the Detroit Lions. Now, this, again, I do think will be Keon Coleman, just because you look at their need, I think, for a secondary receiver outside of Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown is an excellent route runner. He's a third down machine, everything. You need a beast to just go up and get it. And I'm not saying that Keon Coleman is Calvin Johnson, but I'm saying that Jared Goff is Matthew Stafford, so it could work, I guess you could say. It could be, a very similar result to Calvin Johnson. But the Baltimore Ravens at pick 30, other than some driving courses for their receiver, just like the Chiefs. What they need in this draft is I really think outside defenders, more specifically edge rushers. Chop Robinson still on the board. They're going to use him. They lost Jadeveon Clowney, who we all know is a stud. So they're going to look to replace him with Chop Robinson. The 49ers, they do kind of need to replace some guys. But I honestly think that they trade Brandon Ayuk and they bring in Adonai Mitchell. Or they keep Brandon Ayuk, honestly, and you just run it back for one more year, try to win the Super Bowl, give everybody like their last shot. Donnie Mitchell would be an excellent addition to this Kyle Shanahan offense. And then for the Chiefs, I have never been more confident in anything in my life. Andy Reid is going to love him some white receiver. They go with Lad McConkey. And, that's my draft. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Did I get your favorite team correct? Hope you guys enjoyed this edition of the mock draft. Don't forget to subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.